crypto market is now at $1.16 trillion. We have slowly moved up for the day, but understand volatility is the key. While we were pumping, moving towards the upside, we had the thought process, okay, at some point, things will change. There will be volatility coming into the market. Now, why is that? Because we just broke through a key level, and that was a quick run up. Yes, we had the short-term break, retest, and bounce, but we really didn't get the retest for this range yet. And that was one of the main reason why I was saying, okay, we are here at 26,000, but most likely we are going to drop to this range or, in that zone. Now, if we look at the price right now, we've already went way past that level. We are still consolidating. So on a 4-hour chart at least, which is kind of a short-term chart, you are now testing the short-term moving average. All the others are here, close to 23,000. Remember, a week back, it was panic. We were at 19,500. But what just changed in the market? Bitcoin dominance is slowly getting rejected at a time when the dollar retested and got rejected. That's a great thing for us. Because if you remember, we've talked about this scenario from a very long time. 5 months ago, we had this video talking about the dollar collapse, highlighting this. At that time, dollar was at the peak. People were giving you guys the idea of 120 in the DXY, and I was saying most likely we're going to get rejected. That's the history. And right now, if you go look at the exact same thing, that was the top, you got rejected. So if the history stays true, we are up for a great run. It is going to be a big run up in the cryptocurrency market, and it may not be as expected for a lot of different assets, but the key is to be in the market to get at least the average run up, which can be 40x. That is not a small move up. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. While we were talking about this zone, we understood that volatility is going to be in the market because we just ran this quick to this level. But what we should be looking at that point is for opportunities. Once you understand that the market is going to be volatile and you will still be able to make profits with discipline, that is going to be the changing moment for you as a crypto investor. Bitcoin chart does show you like history is here and it's rhyming. And this is not a short-term chart like an hourly chart. What we are looking at right now is a weekly chart, which is a macro perspective being laid out. Yes, it's Bitcoin, it's not XRP, it's not an altcoin. But look at the RSI here. The RSI does show you that it's about to break higher after doing what? That is key here. That's a reaccumulation phase after the first prior impulse, right? We've been in a consolidation range, after which we just got an impulse. That's Jan, Feb. We went up, we consolidated there. Right now, we are trying to break through the upside. Now, even at that point, keep that clear and simple. Even before the breakout, the strength is now close to this range, which kind of coincides with the all-time highs. So saying that the market is now trying to prepare and run towards 30,000, 32,000, maybe a peak up to 37 won't be crazy. Yes, you will start getting resistance close to $29,000, that's for sure. But what's more important is to stay disciplined and to learn on a continuous basis. We had this range which was being respected, but all of a sudden, what happened? The price came to this level. Now we know why that happened. The market, the news, the narrative, there was a lot of ado at that time. But right now, if you are looking at this, that was literally trapping the base. It dropped, and a lot of people who thought it's going to drop back came in and they were just liquidated, right? The market went for that squeeze. Now, the market is retesting this range. So once you get a bounce from here, making another move, that should be the call for the move up while the dollar drops lower. Now, I saw one of the tweet in the crypto Twitter and I was like, wow, that's really cool. And the information laid out here is actually big. Now, it's not the most recent one, but once we are looking at it, we are like, okay, that's really great. Because XRP or Ripple, as they mention it, is shown here along with Litecoin, Ether, and Bitcoin. But what I was personally thinking is like, okay, it is actually great. And yes, shout out to XRP, he actually dropped this day and I didn't find this. So I'm like, okay, that's really helpful to see how this is being filed. Now, this is a patent application filed by the Royal Bank of Canada, and it kind of gives you a perspective of the big banks in a country trying to do for the cryptographic transactions, right? But one of the negative things which I see here is they are most likely using Ether because for all of these transactions, they are literally highlighting what's going to be the procedure, which is actually good, great. Now, one of the key things which we have to understand is in a patent application, you don't literally give every detail. There will be a patent attorney who actually makes the thing for you. You're going to give him a rough, so you can clearly now think about, okay, what this is being showing, at least what the patent attorney is highlighting here is the information which has been refined by the actual scientists who have actually prepared this. I went through this process myself, so I have some idea. Now, looking at this, once you understand, like, okay, they are actually giving more importance to Ether, ERC20 tokens, I'm like, okay, that's not the right area to go, but at least they are taking that time to educate themselves and to upgrade the system from the current legacy system to move into this technology. Once they are into this technology, they'll understand what's scalable, what's not, and what else they need. And that's going to be time-consuming process. It won't happen in a day, but it does highlight that while they talk about the user basket creation, they give equal weightage for Bitcoin, for Ether, for Litecoin, but they use the name Ripple, not XRP. So the clarity there has to be made because I really don't think along with all these cryptocurrencies, they're going to drop Ripple company share. It's not possible, right? So they are talking about XRP and we know that. So the market is volatile. The market is showing you different information which we need to digest. And while we go back and look at this scenario, while we were actually discussing about the Bitcoin move, which just got materialized in the market, now we eventually go back into a macro chart. This is really, really important. Why is that? On a monthly, you're literally observing that, yes, Jan just erased all these negative months. Now, March is trying to go back up. And the retest of the moving average on a monthly, which is going to be the 21 moving average, is close to 33,000. Yes, the price is below the moving average. So even while the price moves up, the moving average is going to come down. So that's one of the reasons why I was saying, okay, 32, 31, close to that range is going to be a key resistance. And what we want to see is how the market reacts at that range. Look for the volume, how volume shifts. Because if it is based on the history, we know what's happening. You go above the moving average, you consolidate, retest that, and then bounce. And before the retest, you get to have a panic capitulation towards the moving average. We just got that here. After which, it's literally like a 6-month run to the upside last time. So if we have higher momentum, it's going to be half that. If we are going like this, straight, slow candles to the upside like this, great. Now, what we are going to look for is like at least a 6 months to the upside. Now we are here only in March. That takes us all the way to September this year. So literally waiting there in the market, saying, okay, the bull run is going to be in 2024. It's going to be in 2025. may not be the best choice out there right now. Now, I completely understand not everyone shares the same idea, not everyone shares the same thought process. But what's more important for us to is to literally understand if the correction towards 15,000 is to come, you would have made a lower low and a lower high. But right now, when you're on a macro structure, what you actually observe, at least on a weekly, is clearly not forming that pattern. You bounced up, you consolidated here, you're trying to go back up. So you're not literally making a lower low or a lower high. You put in a higher high, you put in a higher low, and now you're trying to go for a higher high. So the market is showing you it is starting to trend higher, and that's when you literally look for great opportunities, because the market does show you a ton of opportunities. I don't think anyone of us will neglect the fact that the market is showing that, right? While we are looking for a lot of different assets, including XRP, we're like, okay, XRP is consolidating here. We understand that the backs are packed. It just has to show us that it's going to move. And that's where we focus on it. We go deep into it. Yesterday, we went through it and we understood that it is forming a Wyckoff pattern, which is actually bullish, which is quite bullish, right? So we need to get that break. We need to test 0.53, 0.54 and break that range. That's when we say, okay, accumulation is done. Now we are moving up. Now we have assets in the market which actually have already done that, right? It went through the accumulation phase, capitulation, the Wyckoff spring, you went back up, you broke this pattern. Now you come back and you're retesting that zone and you're bouncing. So what we have to understand is TA kind of gives you a lot of different ideas to compile and make your own decision. But here, when we are looking at it, it also gives you clear projection that, okay, we had this impulse. Now we corrected inside two parallel lines. That's important. Because when you see that, most likely, that's the corrective side, which means you're going to follow the impulsive direction. So now I go look at the indicators. MACD is showing me this. I'm about to cross to the upside. That's not on an hourly. What we are looking at is on a daily. So that is a strong signal. Then you go look at the RSI. You need to know what the RSI is actually suggesting you. You do get volatility, but right now it's a clear breakout. You are moving back to the upside. So you got that here in the RSI. MACD is showing it's about to cross to the upside, which is bullish. The volume is positive. The price is breaking higher. So you're just starting a mark-up phase for this particular asset, right? I'm not saying go buy this asset, but what I'm trying to say is that the market, crypto market as a whole, is showing a ton of opportunity. Now, there are a lot of these assets, not one or two. Like AGIX just did 15x already in this cycle. It had the accumulation, broke that one, went parabolically to the upside. It's already trying to put in a new high. Now, it barely touched into a new high range, but it was not able to close there. But what's more important for us to understand is that on a daily, when you look at the zone, you clearly see a Wyckoff spring pattern, which kind of suggests you that can be a reaccumulation pattern, right? So if we get a break here to the upside, now that's going to be another level to the upside. Now, for that, what we have to do is to go on a macro chart, 3-day. It's showing you it's going to cross back to the upside. If MACD does that, that's important. Look at the long-term RSI. It's a rising trend line as a support. So it does give you the ability to understand what the market is showing you. Yes, the price is volatile. It's really hard to digest the information directly from that. And that's why we use the help of these tools. Maybe it can just be the volume. Maybe it can just be the MACD or RSI, depending upon who you are and how long you have been looking at the charts. That's a little bit more important because it gives you a little bit more ease to understand what the hell is happening here in the market, right? At least to make sense of what's happening right now. So here, while you're going up, this is a resistance, clearly. So on a daily, we have not yet managed to close this candle up here, which is above the previous level of resistance. But this level of resistance, which has been a resistance here, is buried. Bulls just came in and crossed above that close day and got a continuation pattern. Now, this daily close is going to be really important for us to keep our minds focused, because you don't really want to get completely hyped. Rather, you want to look at the reality and stay vigilant, because this is crypto market. It's going to be completely volatile. We know that. So if this is the level of resistance we are eyeing, then the primary question is, okay, let's have patience a little bit more, because those who held on here is now back at the all-time highs. Those who sold lost, right? So once we get the daily candle close, we'll get an idea of what's happening. If the daily candle is closing as we see right now, that's not completely bullish sign. Meaning buyers tried to push through that level, but some people took profit, sellers entered, we are getting slowed down. So the supply and demand mechanism is not completely favoring the bulls. But look at the previous two candles which came before that. It directly shows you a trend in which the price is moving. Then you come look at the indicators. RSI shows you like, okay, I'm breaking higher, I'm going parabolic. So you need the level of patience to observe. When candles go like this, it does get some consolidation, but it still moves up. It does get consolidation, it moves up. So at least you see 1, 2, and 3 wave structure in a micro or nanotone, right? And when you actually zoom in to the same structure, you actually get like, okay, we had that 1, 2, and 3. So that's the nano structure which we are talking about. When we jump onto the micro structure, that means you're going to get some kind of slowdown. So from 26,500, we are already below 25, touched somewhere close to 24,200, but right now still within this range. So getting the daily close inside that zone is going to be really important. Staying about 24,000 is going to be most important thing to look for. Now, yes, it is a daily candle. We are waiting to see how this evolves, and you literally can't change anything, right? We need patience to wait till the market shows you what it is doing. But at least the macro trend is clear. Now, you go back into the crypto market and you're literally looking for what's literally happening in all these other assets. And you're like, okay, some of these are bursting 10, 20, 30% a day, right? And it's not just in the first 100. It's increasing when you move on to the smaller coins. Now here it's not 10, 20, 30. Here it's 15, 20, 30, 40, right? So the change is visible like what we saw earlier in Jan and then in Feb. What does that mean? For me, clearly that shows you like, okay, that structure is kind of the wave 1, microwave 1 of this macrowave structure, which means you are starting the next microwave, which is wave 2. Wave 2 is the most impulsive wave and volatile one too. So let's follow this for maybe a couple of months and see how things are really evolving. And if you are looking for things like this at the right time, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below, where we discuss through almost all of these altcoins and any assets you have in your portfolio. So you know whether they are about to drop or they're going to follow Bitcoin and run for the next wave. So guys, if you received value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.